In this video we're going to learn how to use the between and non-between clauses. So crank up the Management Studio here. First step is this. Right click the name of the table and then click edit top 200 rows, and it looks like this. Alright, so what we need to do is add a new column. So right click and then design. Let's add a column called money earned, and now notice when you do that, because this column name is split into two separate words, it's enclosed within brackets. Alright, now let's change this to the correct data type, which in this case is money. There's an actual data type called money. Alright, in fact, if you go to the drop down here, see, there's a great number of data types: geography, geometry, hierarchy, image, integer, float, decimal. I mean, there's just for every situation imaginable, anything that you might have to represent in the real world. You know, there are data types. There's small money even, you see, small date, time, and so on. Alright, for our purposes, money will do. Make sure we save all of this, so that's it. Now, next step will be to right click and then edit top 200 rows. Let's actually enter some values. So because John is the president, we'll give him a 250 as the salary, and Mary's the vice president, she'll get a 190. And let's see, Tom is the programmer, so he'll get 110. And Mary's an HTML developer, she'll get 70. And Bob is the star salesperson. Okay, so if you don't have a row with an ID of 5, a name Bob, and a title star person, please add that. Okay. Alright, so he's the star salesperson. Now, salespeople are absolutely essential in every company, right? Because they sell you product. Without them, it's difficult to function. So we'll give him a big salary of, say, $300,000. Right? If you can sell well, you can make a huge amount of money. There you go. But it's, you know, not for everybody. You have to be very outgoing and all that. Alright, so that's all fine. There you go. Hit this little exclamation mark. There you go. Perfect. Let's click this off. So now we're going to write our query. So type use my dbase and then select all from dbo.table1. Okay, so remember, the function of this query is to select everything the way it's been selected down below. Okay, now we're going to start refining. So first we refine by introducing columns. So name, title, and then money earned, like that. If it happens ever that this comes out here underlined with like a red squiggly line, you might get that. What you want to do then is hit Control Shift R. So hit Control plus Shift plus R if a field is underlined, because that means IntelliSense has to be refreshed. Now we'll refresh IntelliSense and it should have removed a problem that might say something like, you know, column name not recognized. Alright, just as a heads up. Alright, so when you run this, this will return these. Excellent. Now we are going to restrict the rows to be returned. So type where money earned between 170,000 and 260,000, like that. Okay? That means take what the information on the screen here and now return only some of these rows that match the condition where, for example, the money in this column here, right in this cell, has to be between 170 and 260. So the president here should work, the vice president should be okay, the programmer should not, HTML should not be, and the star salesperson should not also be, because it would be more than 260. So execute this, and it returns the president and the vice president. Right? Those amounts fall between 170 and 260. Alright. Now, once you've built a query, you can apply the usual order by. And now let's say we want to order by title. Now take a look very carefully. When you order by title, execute this. Notice right now the title is president, vice president, and not order. It's still president, vice president. So what's implied is If you type ASC, that's shorthand for ascending if you run this. So it seems as though the default case, even if you don't include the ASC, the default case, the implied case of sorting is, you see, it's ascending, president, vice president. If you wish to change that, type DSC for descending, run that, execute it, and now it goes vice president, president in that order. Okay? There you go. So let me delete this. Let me take this query commented out, drag it down a few lines. I'll just push it down. Alright, and now copy and paste it over. And now we will make only one modification to be sure you can follow along, which is this, and uncomment this. So highlight the code, hit this one here, uncomment, and it becomes active again, it gets highlighted. Alright, so we're going to reverse. That means you're going to type not between 170 and 260. Right, so notice, right now we have two records on the screen, and these are such that it's 190, 250, that's between 170 and 260. This will be all the records that are below 170 and, well, or above 260. Okay, so below 270 or everything above 260. Execute this, and notice it returns the style salesperson because he's making 300,000. That's above 260. The programmer makes 110. That's below 170, and the other developer makes 70. That's also below 110. So that's the reason for doing it this way. Alright, and now further, I want you to realize something. When you look at the estimated execution plan, if you run that for this particular query, you see the sort. I see the cost of that, 78%, so be careful, because if you have a huge amount of information, that can be very expensive and time consuming. And further, if you run this, if you have a query, you may want to work with a small subset of your data, so you don't run a query that takes 5 hours. Or the other thing to do at least is hit this where it says parse, and I would check the syntax to be sure that at least the syntax is correct. And maybe, get a subset of your data and work with a subset. Then, if you are absolutely satisfied that it's okay, then release that into production. So then you can be certain that you'll get the desired result and not spend 5 hours waiting for a query to execute, which then is found to be incorrect or return the not the desired results. Alright, so that is it. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in another video.